Huntsville, Alabama. You know we've got space camp and rockets and government contractors, but did you know we have one kick-ass music scene that doesn't get near enough attention? Well, that's about to change. Welcome to Uprising, a podcast about the people that make Huntsville's music scene so cool. Hosted by me, Bill Fowler, Huntsville native and lifelong musician. So strap on that guitar, flip on that amp, and crank it all the way up. You've just joined the Uprising. Young City.
Young City.
Thank you for being here, man.
Appreciate you, man.
Welcome to Uprising. Listen, this is the craziest. It's not crazy. I'm the crazy one because I walked into Low Mill Studio 150 a couple weeks ago. It's where I met Moclair, and I knew Tim Miller to begin with. And Tim was like, "Hey, if you want to know what's going on in Huntsville music, like the depths of Huntsville music," he said, "Come and hang out with me at I guess they called it Hip Hop Night, but it was Bonahoo, you know." And was it? And so is it always in Studio 150?
Being honest, that was I won't say the first time. That was my second time, because probably 2 weeks before that we did concerts on the docks. That was at Low Mill too.
Yeah.
But it was outside.
Yeah.
So we came back for that one.
Yeah.
And that was on the inside in 150. So that was my first time being inside of 150.
Well, so Tim was like, "Hey, it's at Low Mill," which I know. Studio 150, I did not know.
Mm-hmm.
And it was busy that night. There was tons of people around.
Yeah.
Well, you were there. And so I walked in, and Moclair had just taken the stage.
Okay.
And I mean, you know, like I told her, I really didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know that there was a hip hop scene in Huntsville.
Mm-hmm.
Like, number one, I'm old. Number two, I got kids, and I like, you know, I wasn't plugged in to that. Then when I meet Tim, and he says, "Come out," and then suddenly it was like I felt really dumb.
Brought you to a whole new world, and
It did,
Yeah.
and it made me sad, you know, because I like hip hop. Like before we started recording, you know, I told Tim, and I've talked to lots of other folks, you know, since then. I grew up with hip hop just like everybody else, and I just didn't realize that we had that here, and that was a big deal for me to see that. So I loved it, and then I loved your set, which was really what I loved about that night was Moclair has her production and how she presents her music, and then you similar but in a different style, and then Cold Boys again different, and I thought that it worked, you know, that it really worked. Remind me of the DJ's name. A-Twist. And so I connected with him on Facebook the next day, so like I'm working my way through that night. But so what I have to say is, so this is Young City. That's YUNG space CITY. Go to Spotify. How did you get in? I know you, because we're recording right now. We're in Madison, and because you live a little bit past Decatur. How did you get hooked up with these guys?
I mean, as far as in Huntsville?
Yeah.
Okay. Now here recently, I would say this year, I've been doing most of my work in Huntsville, because I was promoting levels at the time, and then my manager got in touch with this guy named, I know you heard of B Still.
Yeah.
Got in touch with B Still. I really don't know if he reached out to B Still or B Still reached out to him. I just know my manager came to me like, "Hey, they doing this thing in Huntsville called Copper Talk,
Yeah.
Hip Hop Underground." So I'm like, "Oh man, I ain't really never did nothing like that in Huntsville." So he was like, "You want to do it?" I'm like, "Let's do it." And that probably was the best move I made in a long time,
Yeah.
because it opened up so many doors for me since I started doing it. Like I said, I'm not even from Huntsville, but they treat me like family because I do so much work up here.
Yeah.
And that's when I met Cricket. That's when I met A-Twist.
Mm-hmm.
I had knew T Mill before, because he came to my studio one time and we did an interview there. We did an interview podcast there, so I had met up with him before.
How'd you meet him?
Last year I was signed to this record label called Pyramid Game Records out of Decatur.
Mm-hmm.
They introduced me to him, so that's how I met T Mill. And every place I've been going in Huntsville, I've seen him.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, and I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna keep going back to this moment with at Low Mill because I had this vision of what hip hop in Huntsville was going to be like, and I was pleasantly surprised.
It's totally different than what
Totally
you thought.
different
Yeah.
because I expected. Man, I kind of expected amateur hour, you know? I kind of expected people who just kind of do this on the side.
And don't take it serious.
Right.
Yeah.
And then we hooked up. You reached out to me on Facebook. And T-Mill told me about you already. And so then you sent me a couple of videos. And I see this video on YouTube for elevator music. Stop this freaking video and go to YouTube and type elevator, spelled like elevator, but music is M-U-Z-I-K.
Yeah.
And it's a video. And I mean, of course it's a video because it's on YouTube, but I mean, it's a video like an MTV video.
Yeah. Nothing like you would think when somebody tell you to watch.
Oh, I feel so stupid. And I really feel like a jerk because you send me this video and you're like, check this out. And to be honest with you, man, I've gotten a lot of other people that are in my inbox right now, and I've only been doing this for a little bit, okay? So and suddenly the audience has grown, and it's really great, and I'm really blessed and very fortunate to have the people who are paying attention to me. That's great.
Because I'm watching. Yeah.
But people send me videos, and they send me their songs. Hey, check this out, check this out. And yours is just different. And dang, you see this video, and it's shot in HD. It's real.
Yeah.
That is real, and I was blown away.
Appreciate it.
Tell me how a dude like you're so talented. Like, how do you grow? How did you produce that?
Man, that song, like that was a song off Levels. That was the last single we did off of the project. And that was probably my favorite song off the album. But I got my manager and then I got my sister. She's like my manager too, so it's kind of like I got two managers. When my sister heard it, and she heard the song, and I had already did two videos off the project, and she was like, I said, okay, elevator music, we're gonna close it. We're gonna close Level out with elevator music. My sister, she said, I wanna do this one. I wanna direct this one.
Yeah.
I wanna coordinate this video. And I'm like, no, I got it. And now she's like, no, I got it. Let me do this one. She was like, trust me. So I trusted her, man. All I had to do was show up. She coordinated that whole video, that whole storyline.
I want to talk to her.
Yeah.
Because this is what I see.
Okay.
I see it looks like a shot in New York.
Yeah, it was in Atlanta.
Beautiful. The camera work was amazing.
Kevin Key.
Your clothes. I mean, I'm a clothes junkie, man,
Yeah.
and I'm looking at your clothes and I'm like, this is A+ level production.
Yeah.
And now your sister's looking at this and she's like, I told you.
Yeah. We
You
argued about it for a minute, and she was right. She was right. It was the
No,
first
it's
video
real.
I did.
It's real good.
Yeah.
It's real good. And I have so many things I want to ask you. And we probably should do this in like a part 1 and part 2 because I want to hear about your voice.
No rush.
When I'm listening to that song and I see the production quality, you got a message in that song. What are you trying to say? Like, what is your message?
Like I say when I perform it, man, whatever you do, for example, this podcast, you don't want to start doing it and just start going down and start failing on you. Anything you do, like you want to be a rapper, doctor, lawyer, basketball player, you want to elevate in everything you do. It's called elevator music,
Yeah.
but not actually elevator music.
Right.
It's to elevate you with anything you do.
Right.
And that's pretty much what this song is about, man.
So before we started recording, I told you that, when I'd seen Montclair and I saw you and I saw Cold Boys, I grew up with hip hop. It's part of my music. I grew up as a middle-class white kid, so and it was, metal, a lot of heavy stuff, and then hip hop kind of came into that. When I was probably a 7th grader, Public Enemy and Anthrax. Anthrax was a heavy metal thrash band, and Public Enemy did a video together. Bring the Noise was that song, and that was a crossover. It introduced me to hip hop.
Okay. That's what brought you in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it was like suddenly, okay, well, this is cool. I'm mad about stuff, and these guys are mad about stuff, and these guys are mad about stuff, and they're doing this together. Run DMC and Aerosmith. There's a crossover
So you
there.
felt like you related to him.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I feel like where you grew up and where I grew up, probably different places. You know, we were in different ways, but you still feel that adolescence. You still feel that anger. You told me the Cash Money Millionaires is like that was your thing.
Yeah.
Who else brought you into music?
I would say Outkast was a big influence.
Yeah.
Outkast, Big Boy, Andre 3000, it was a real big influence on me. I used to listen to the Clips a lot. I like the Up North rappers. That's why you kind of hear a lot of that bebop in my music. Yeah, that Up North.
Yeah.
I'm from the country, man. I'm from the dirt roads. I'm from the cotton field. When they hear me, they think I'm from somewhere else. But if they seen where I was from, you know, blow their mind.
Your voice is from somewhere, and your rap is from somewhere else.
Yeah.
Explain that to me.
It's just me, man. I mean, I can't really. It's kind of hard to explain. It ain't nothing I do on purpose. It's just what comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it ain't really nothing I tried to force. It's just how it came out. I mean, I just put it in the oven, and when it got done baking, That's just how it tastes.
When you step up to a mic, and you go from you to Young City.
It's two different people, man. It's really two different people. I think about that. I never talk about it. Even when I perform, it feel like it's two different people. Because who I am now talking to you is different when I step behind the mic.
Right.
Or when I step on the stage, and it's something I can control.
When you do that, and you become this alter ego, you go from Clark Kent to Superman.
Yeah.
When you do that, is it hard to come back to Clark Kent?
It take a minute. It ain't immediately when I come off, but you can feel it going down.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like when the hook turns into the hook.
Yeah.
And after he starts shrinking and his clothes start falling off of him, that's kind of how I feel, man. It's really something I can't control, but you can feel it. You can feel it, man.
Is that addictive?
Yeah, it is. It's like a drug. And it's a real good feeling, man. It's real hard to explain. Like, I'm sitting here trying to explain it, but
I
it's
know.
hard to explain, man.
And the people who are closest to you understand that. But like, you know, is it hard to come back? Like when you go to Huntsville, and I realize, you know, Huntsville's not the biggest place in the world. When you go to Copper Top and you're on stage and there are people who just know you as that.
Yeah, they don't know the real me, yeah.
What's it like to get back in your car and drive out here?
It's a relief, but it's real satisfying, man.
Yeah.
It's real satisfying, especially when it's a real good show. Like that night you was talking about at Low Mill, man, I feel real good. That car ride back, it was a real good feeling, man. Real good feeling.
So let's go back to Outkast real quick, because the example that I'll give you is when I was high school, college, there's a transition in rock music that went from like Guns N' Roses and that kind of music, popular heavy metal music, and then suddenly Nirvana comes along.
Okay.
Nirvana changed everything.
Yeah.
And suddenly, like, you watched it happen. And that music was dead, and this music starts, and now you got a whole new avenue to travel.
Yeah.
I wasn't paying attention to hip hop closely, but to me, it seemed like you had this whole genre of music, and Outkast came along and just kind of blew all that up, and then something else went this way. Now I know you, and again, I'm gonna expose my ignorance of this, but there was East Coast, West Coast, there was like the Tupac and the Biggie thing, and all that was going on during that period of time. But Outkast kind of came over here and said, we're gonna write music that's hooky, you know, like it sticks in your head, it's cool, it has a message, but it isn't necessarily like a message. You know what I mean?
It's what we like.
Yeah.
They made music that they like. They didn't care about
feuds.
what the people like.
Yeah, well, right. And they made their own music, and it was
what brought people to them. Yeah.
And you gravitated toward that.
Yeah.
How did their message inform your message? I mean, talking specifically about Outkast, like how did what they had to say inform what you had to say?
I wouldn't even say it was what they were saying. It's just how they moved and how they maneuvered. They was always their self. Everybody always looked at them as weird, kind of different. They wasn't the average hip hop artists.
Right.
And that's what I really like about him. And I was going back to what we was talking about earlier. I probably was the biggest Lil Wayne fan, probably
Yeah.
still to this day.
Yeah.
Probably still to this day, even after everybody else left, Cash Money, and it was only Wayne by himself. He put that on his back. Now he's one of the biggest rappers
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I started doing this, and I thought, because I'm an idiot, I thought local music in Huntsville was the people that I knew. That I was gonna just talk to the people that I knew, my little circle of people, because local music to me, honestly, was white people music. And then I went to hip hop night, I met T-Mill, and now suddenly this huge horizon opens up to me. I remembered how much I love hip hop, and I've got this like new avenue to explore. If think about the people who are watching this, and most of my audience is probably around my age, a bunch of white folks who listen to a certain kind of music who maybe don't have any exposure to hip hop. What's one thing that you can, or maybe something you could say to those people, misconceptions, or what they don't know about hip hop, or what they don't know about your music that would give them a path into that genre, you know?
I would say just give it a try. When it comes to hip hop, man, it ain't always nice. It ain't always pretty, but it's one thing that it is always when you're dealing with certain artists, it's always real. It's always real. In real life, and it's not always nice. It's not always cut and clean, because life is not always cut and clean. So hip hop is gonna give it to you raw. And when I say hip hop, I look at this just my perspective. I look at hip hop and rap as two different things.
Tell me the difference.
I feel like hip hop is more of a message, something to say, and I look at most rap these days, it's just a lot of this and that over a beat. People just get a quick check for it. It's here today and going on.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it.
So hip hop has a message.
It's got a message.
Hip hop is important.
Yeah, it's important.
Hip hop ties to the community and to people's lives every day. And rap would be more like pop.
Yeah.
Just like it's a beat, it's a hook, and you're done.
Something real catchy. You know it today, next week it's on to the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah, something. I feel like hip hop is something 20 years from now, that same album that you was playing, you can go back and it still relate to you today.
Why is hip hop important?
I feel like it's important because nowadays, if you really think about it, hip hop, man, it's kind of anything you look at. If you look at sports, it's even relatable to hip hop now, because it's like even the athletes want to be hip hop artists. They
Right.
want the way they dress, the way
Right.
they carry themselves. Anywhere from that to movies, your actors, if you look at them, they just take on the hip hop cadence and anything, the way they carry themselves, the way they dress,
Yeah.
every area of activity, really.
What about your music is important? Same thing.
Same thing, hip hop. That's all I'm about. I feel like that's me. That's all I live and breathe outside of my family and work.
Yeah.
That's me.
So I've listened to Levels and I've listened to Top Shelf, and there's a difference between these two. Tell me. So let me start with this. So Levels is 2018. So that's last year. About what time was it finished?
Man, that's a good question. I started on levels in 17. So it took me almost a year to finally complete levels. And in between that, I was working on other stuff with other people. So when we finally released it, I think it was May 11th, 2018. That's when it finally. So it took me probably almost a year. But I got another album coming out Friday called Timeless.
Okay.
With
Coming out Friday.
Coming out this Friday with my guy Poppy. His name is Eric Allen, but everybody knows it's Poppy. Some might call him EA. We've been working on this for probably, I say, about 4 or 5 months. We just dropped a video yesterday. We shot at Bridge Street.
Yeah.
This movie is big. He was one of the ones that was performing with me at Low Mill.
Okay.
Yeah. So this finna be.
So where can I see that?
My page. I seen some more stuff.
Okay.
When we get finished, we did a listening session probably about a month ago. man. We got thousands of views.
So I was talking to Montclair about this, and I was everybody that I talked to, I asked kind of like, what do you think are the strengths and weaknesses of the local music scene? And everybody says, like, I don't know what you're doing. And it's partially on me, but the fact that you've got thousands of views and it doesn't overlap into my universe or whatever. It seems like we need a central hub so that when you put something out, it goes into this big universe and people can just kind of grab it and listen or whatever. And I guess it's Facebook, but I mean, Facebook even has like these little silos of communities where if I didn't know T-Mill, I wouldn't know. Yeah. And so we just don't overlap enough. Yeah. So do you have an answer for that? Like,
that's a good question, man. It's about networking, man. Like what we doing now.
Yeah.
We gotta do more of this, man. Not just with you, even with other people. It's just all about
like networking. You shot a video at Bridge Street. Like there's people should, and when I mean people, I don't mean just the people that you know.
Yeah.
There's got to be a better way of exposing all this stuff, so that I just don't blindly walk into a room and think, "Oh, this is neat."
Yeah, you know, supposed to already know about it. Yeah.
Right. And how would I have known if I didn't know Tim?
Yeah.
And how would I have met Tim unless I started doing this? You know, it's just it seems silly that in 2019, where I can send a tweet and it can be seen by millions of people instantly. That we can't figure out a way for us to know about what we're doing in the same city, but that's the way it is.
Yeah, it's just the way it is.
Well, we're gonna get better at it. That's my responsibility, I think. So, when's the next time you're gonna be out and doing your thing?
It's probably so far, because it's always something. I could say nothing. As soon as I pull off, my manager be telling me, "Hey, we got to do this." But we just did Copper Top last weekend. So I know we got something coming up in Low Mill next month. I can't remember. I'm thinking the date is the 13th, and then I know we're gonna have Copper Top again. Mm-hmm. So
listen, I'll tell you, I told Montclair the same thing because I was asking her the same question. She's like, "Well, I'm doing this month. Next month is this," and I'm like, this whole once a month thing has to stop.
We need more. We need a lot.
I'll tell you, and this is people that are my friends and know this already. Crossroads was a great music venue downtown on Clinton Avenue.
Talking about it's upstairs. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've been
had the mezzanine, like the big open space.
Still there?
It's still there. There's going to be a place called Mercantile. It's going to be another music venue.
Okay.
They're reopening the music venue. But it shut down. And one of the reasons it shut down is because they had a hip hop night and somebody had a gun, and the next thing you know, some bad stuff happened, and I think it scared venues. I think venues are scared of hip hop because of that reason. Now, that doesn't mean anybody from any other genre of music could have done the exact same thing, but because it's hip hop, it's like, oh, well, we know what that means.
Yeah.
And so venues are afraid of hip hop night, and they shouldn't be.
Yeah.
But that's the world we live in. That's the way it is. You said hip hop has raw messages, and it brings sometimes a raw crowd, and that's just the way it is. Tell me why that venues shouldn't be afraid of hip hop in 2019.
I don't feel like you should be afraid of hip hop. First of all, if you move the right way, you know who to deal with and who not to deal with.
Yeah.
I'm not knocking anybody, but if you pay attention, you know the kind of crowd, say this person brings, that person brings. And I feel like it's just all about the way you move. I don't perform everywhere because I really want to cater to my crowd. That's just me though. Every artist might not do it, but that's just how I move. I might not perform this place, but I perform this place because I know the type of crowd that my music brings.
Yeah,
so I don't think, as far as the venues, it's all about, like I said, the way you move and the people you're dealing with, knowing the people.
Right. So if I were going to say it's somebody's responsibility, it's definitely the venue's responsibility to book the right people. But it's also the artist's responsibility to make sure that they're responsible to their venue, right? One of the things that I see my responsibility is to do more to bring these communities to overlap. So the more I hang out with T-Mill, who's one of the coolest people I know, and by the way, he still hadn't called me to hang out again. I don't know that. The more we hang out together and the more we bring the people that listen to what I do, the more we bring people that listen to what you do and to Tim, Spice Radio, that we're going to make a better community. Because I'm really tired of seeing people that are as good as you and as talented as you in the middle of your career, or learning about your new album come out, or screwing up like the name of your album. I'm really tired of that, and that's on me, but it's also on all of us to make sure that we know, what we all do. And that needs to cross our cultural lines, our community lines, our racial lines. It needs to cross all those, because good music is good music, right?
Yeah. I feel like this is just in this area, because when you go to these other bigger cities, they're booking these venues, they're opening these venues to these artists, and that's why everybody's already crossing paths in other cities. So that's something we need to do more. I'm not from Huntsville, but Huntsville is the biggest city that I'm close to.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do most of my work here. So that's something that we're missing around here.
Yeah.
I mean, we got Copper Top and we got Low Mill. Like you said, it's just once a month things. We need more.
Well, and Copper Top's a great room. Low Mill's obviously a good place. Not knocking that. That's good on them for giving.
They opening a lot of doors.
True, but we got to get more venues and we got to get bigger venues involved. But again, absolutely, because you need to open the doors to a place that holds 500 people. And there's a need for venues that hold 150 people. That's great, but 150 people every month is not going to get us anywhere. So we need to expand, and really that's on me and you to make that happen. Well, man, I could talk to you for a long time, and we have a lot to say, and I appreciate you being here, making the drive and hanging out. I'm going to pay attention to the calendar for Copper Top, but I'm going to start working on getting us something that's more than once a month, because a lot more people need to see you, need to see Cold Boys, need to see Moclair, and I need to know who else is out there, I got to meet with A-Twist. That's another thing. Cricket already got,
Good people, man. I'm real lucky to been able to meet them. They, like I said, they treat me like family. Anything I need, all I got to do is call them, man. And that's a real shout out to A-Twist and Cricket and B Still, because when I met up with them, man, they're real good people.
Yeah.
So they helped me with
Well, that's real cool. That's very cool, and I'm glad people like that are around to help grow this scene. Well, listen, I appreciate you being here. I want to buy a T-shirt because that's really cool. I'm all about some clothes, so I really want to represent. But we'll get together again soon, man. So now tell me, you got this new thing coming out.
Yeah, Timeless. That's another thing. We need to do this again. Like I said, Timeless drops Friday, be at 12 a.m. So Timeless drops Friday, and I want to come back with my boy Poppy.
Yeah.
So we can promote the album. We'll come together to be both of us. But we're gonna try to. I've already made a lap around Huntsville, just doing interviews.
Yeah.
So I wanna, after we drop it, I wanna do another lap just promoting the.
Man,
album.
I'll go with. Just tell me where to be,
Okay.
and we'll do it.
Okay.
Now you didn't do a CD release. I mean, I know you probably don't. Are you printing CDs or anything?
We're gonna do both.
Okay. When you do that, please let me know. I'll come to where you are. We'll do this again.
Okay. If we gotta, I like this place.
Yeah, it's pretty
I
nice.
like this, man. It's nice. It's real nice.
And they got good food here too.
Cool. I'm gonna have to try it.
Cork and Crust in Madison. Free shout out. I mean,
Yeah,
maybe I can
yeah.
pull a sponsor out of it. Hey, thanks, brother.
Appreciate it, man.
Really appreciate
you.
All right, Young City on Uprising.
Easy.